Hello, John.
Hello, Oliver.
And today we're going to talk about your project, Christian TV Ireland, and all the positives that are going to come from it.
Yes, Christian TV Ireland is a project that we've undertaken, and it's more necessary now than ever because of the way that the society in Ireland has gone from what was a very Christian practicing country and with respect for all and a very safe country for people to live in. It has now gone to the stage where a very secular government has introduced various policies without any rational debate in the government circles and for politicians in the government or in the Dáil, in our Parliament, and also the media, which enjoys a licence fee courtesy of the government, supported all the kind of divisive policies that they have introduced without a proper debate, except in some small Catholic newspapers. And these papers are not widely discussed on the media or anywhere else. The agenda appears to be pro everything bar the spiritual well-being of Irish people and people living in the country. There's such a need for a Christian TV station to try and speak for people, Catholics, Christians and people of other faiths that are being pressured into adopting secular attitudes to their life, the constant criticism by the media about TV, radio and print, finding anything that they can criticise about the Christian faith, and it gave a foundation and a meaning to people's lives for centuries. Responsible for the universities and the hospitals and the various care facilities for people that were abandoned by the state at the time. So there's a great need for it, for the Christian TV station, Christian TV Ireland project that we have undertaken. We have videos showing what we stand for. We have videos going back to 2015 which show a consistent concern for Irish people in this country and for their welfare in towns and villages throughout the country.
Yeah, there's 450 videos that you've done since 2015.
Well, there's a great record. We've been promoting the values that we espouse, the practice of the Christian faith, the devotion that all Christians practiced in my young days and in my adulthood up to about the age of 30, with Churches Pact and the Sacrament of Confessions for Catholics Pact, and then other Christian denominations having many people attending their services, because all seeking to try and live a good life as what they were baptised with and what their families have tried to practice. This was the example that parents gave to their children. They made sure that they said their morning and evening prayers. They made sure that they attended Christian, Catholic and Christian churches on a regular basis, and this now has all but disappeared in many churches with attendance diminishing all the time, and sometimes only older people or people with very small children attending, and people going for to get their children baptised, the first Holy Communion in the Catholic faith, and confirmation, and sometimes that's the last time they're seen in the Catholic Church and in the other Christian churches. So this is not good for their for their souls or for their life, because they're too much concerned with the secular agenda that is inflicted on them. And if you don't get your soul nourished by attending Christian churches, Catholic and Christian churches and other places, Orthodox churches, and for the Muslims to attend their faith, which they do. And all this, and everyone seeking the honour and glory of God and the peace that brings to the heart and soul. And in many instances, people trying to keep the Sabbath holy. In other words, keep it for families and so on and so forth. With the frenetic pace and the secular agenda, there is nearly no time for to develop that aspect of your soul and your spiritual well-being, and that an awful lot of people, unfortunately, have lost the faith and are suffering as a result. We have more marriage breakdowns now than ever. We have all sorts of social problems of people taking their lives. We have a government now wanting to introduce assisted suicide and euthanasia to kill more people than they have already done with abortion, and do it officially. All these items done because the people are no longer developing that aspect of their lives, because there's not enough vehicle or there's not enough emphasis on this aspect of a person's life. So this is where the Christian TV Ireland comes in. It's nearly long overdue to try and redress the balance, to try and bring some good to Irish people in this country and people living in this country from other jurisdictions, that they deserve to have an alternative than the media and the sort of the lack of the inability for families to watch television in comfort without finding something quite disturbing. Families can look at the Christian TV station when we get it established, and you'll be assured of good programmes. Families can look at it, because for children there'll be programmes to inform them of the beauty of the Christian faith and the belief in God, to give them encouragement, to interview them, get their points of view of what they have to deal with. A lot of young children have to deal in a lot of situations throughout life, from the time they go to school. They're on their own. The families need a bit of support. They need support as well for to sort of bring their children up the way they want to bring them up, so as at least they'll be responsible citizens. So all these aspects will be catered for by the Christian TV Ireland that we hope to establish with people's help and donations. It's not so easy to start a station like this, expecting people that take shares and all the rest of it. We will be a non-profit organisation. We won't be looking for advertisements to pay for wherever it is that we're producing. There'll be none of that. It'll be donations and wholesome programmes appealing to all that will be practiced by the Christian TV Ireland.
And people can donate on the website christiantvIreland.ie, isn't that correct?
That's right. They can look it up on the website and they'll see details about what we stand for and how they can donate. I will be calling on people that I know over throughout the country that have regarded as friends in my business career over the years, and encouraging them to, giving them the information that they might need, and leaflets and such, that they will be able to sort of see what we're about and what we hope to achieve. Programmes, as I say, will probably start from about 4 p.m. to 11 p.m. and programmes for young people will take place from 4 to about 6. They'll be able to take part. Their little views will be shared for young people and even teenagers that often have difficulties in life. They're coming to manhood. Sometimes they suffer from anxiety, and some of them can suffer from a certain amount of inferiority and so on and so forth. Some of them can be in homes that are quite that are not good, and they need to be able to talk about these things, and we will be talking to young people about those and letting them express themselves. It won't be all one-sided preaching at them. There'll be a two-part process, and we'll be interviewing lay people. There'll be a mass for Catholics from about 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. or thereabouts, and Rosary and Benediction for Catholics, and then there will be services, alternative days for the other Christian churches that take place that are held in the country, and we'll be interviewing all those as well with programmes. With interviews to see what it is that they offer the Christian to save their souls and to sort of seek the development of their spiritual nature, because we all have a spiritual nature, whether we accept it or not. We have that, and made in the image and likeness of God. So if we don't develop that by attending church, we're not going to be able to get the tools to deal with it. Other Christian churches read the Bible. They use the Bible to underpin their what they believe in, and that's a good thing, because we're all recommended to read a bit of the Bible every day to nourish our souls, not to be for that just purpose alone. This is the sort of this is what's needed very much, for people to be able to express themselves. There will be interviews with lay people. It won't be all with experts. It will be lay people to see what they have to cope with and how to deal with them. One can say from my young years in this country and in my adulthood that the development of houses is being astronomical in this country, in my book, because there are estates now that were green fields not that long ago, and there are apartments and all the rest of it, more or less in the cities and in towns and even in villages. But there is the absence at the same time of a kind of a cohesion, a neighbourliness, a coming together with shared views. We'll be encouraging that type of stuff. We'll be encouraging very much the development of people's lives in the rural communities in this country, in the towns and villages. We'll be focusing on all these matters that are important to people. We'll be also helping people to reach whatever potential they can and to understand their problems. We don't hear nothing about that kind of thing on the media, in the secular media. We just hear viewpoints of so-called experts. It's the lay people and the ordinary people the Christian TV Ireland will be listening to and wanting to talk about. Of course, we'll have news then from abroad and the good that's happening in the world. We won't be focusing on all the negative stuff, the bad news. Our news will have a positive input to give people a feeling of hope. If you get too much of the negative stuff, like that we've endured for the past 2 years, isolated and our freedom very much curtailed, This can put um, an untold burden on people, so that they don't know what way to which way to turn. They can't even call to their neighbours or even members of their family. Some of them haven't seen members of their family for a couple of years. It's gradually easing now, but I mean, how long does it take for governments and the health authorities to deal with diseases that have always been rampant? Diseases don't just disappear. This virus is another disease, and it must be said there is solutions for it. There's vaccinations being offered. They're supposed to be a solution, and all the rest of it. So it's up to the medical profession to deal with it and not to be alarming citizens constantly about what's happening in it. I mean, people die of cancer and people are treated for cancer, but we're not given chapter and verse every day about the situation there and that type of thing. So I think it's time to sort of have other news items on TV, but this is where the Christian TV will come in. We'll be focusing on things that are happening for the good of people, for the uplifting of people, that kind of thing.
Thank you very much, John.
Thank you very much, Oliver. As I say,